Oktoberfest. Ben, you and I are live. We are starting off with a Oktoberfest tradition.
Yes. Welcome, everybody. This is an interesting start to the Outturn preview because it is Oktoberfest, and we don't have whiskey in our classes right now. I just poured this beer, and hold on, let me take a sip. I've been waiting to go live and do this.
Yeah.
Cheers. Scott and I were just talking about, well, actually, but probably saw the caption or the Outturn coming tomorrow is Oktoberfest theme. Mm-hmm. And of course, we are a Scotch whiskey company, and we're going to be drinking a lot of Scotch whiskey tonight. But we figured, what the hell? Let's just start it off proper. Man, that tasted so good.
We know we've got some literature going with like pairing beers and whiskey. We do have 6 whiskeys to get through, so we didn't want to sit here and drink 6 beers as well with 6 whiskeys. But I've actually got a 2018 Goose Island Bourbon County Stout, one of my favorites.
I see that. My old, oh yeah, classic stout in a rocks glass right there. That's is that a Scotch Deming's glass?
No, yeah, it is. Well, yeah, you can't. It is, yeah.
Fingerprint.
Our Spartan helmet. Yep.
Yes.
But no.
Greetings. I poured a German style Pilsner.
Ooh. Good call.
That's all. We are, first of all, Scott and I'd like to drink beer. We're not the beer experts. We're here to talk about whiskey, but couldn't let the fact that this is the occasion get past us. And I'm curious to know from everybody in the chat if you are also into pairing beer with whiskey. It's pretty common, particularly in Scotland, mostly throughout the UK, to order a dram at the pub and get like I guess we call them, what do we call them? Tall boys? What do we call the little ones? Short short beers? I don't know. Yeah. A little beer.
Yeah.
Like as a sidecar, I think is the term, right?
In the UK, don't they call it? Isn't a huff and huff or a half and half? A beer and a beer and a whiskey.
Yeah. See, we know what we're talking about, people. No, but it's true. I mean, if you think about it, whiskey is essentially distilled beer. To make whiskey, one first has to make beer. Yeah. And I think, it shares the key ingredient, which is barley. So I think naturally it does go well together. And as Scott said, we did talk about doing like a pairing, this and that. We just thought we'd pour a beer, just kick off this stream. We do have 6 whiskeys to taste through. And by the looks of them, I think we got a lot of crowd pleasers here, which means that we're going to have a few Oman whiskeys, a few moments ourselves with these. But cheers, everybody. And question, what is it? Monday night? What's in the glass tonight? If not a beer, a whiskey?
Monday night, beer and football. So, NFL football started back up, but I think whiskey takes precedence to football for a little bit, and then football and beer.
Yeah. So yeah. That's the deal. Matt Booth says, I'm just reading this here. Went out and got the IKEA SMWS cabinets after the gathering event. Wow. We are not, unfortunately this stream is not sponsored by IKEA, but there Scott has done the thing where he zooms in on me. Okay, here we are. Anyway, yes, this is the IKEA shelves. We got in a lot of comments about the IKEA shelving during that gathering stream, because Jenna, Zach, and myself all have it at first. But it's not the idea. It's funny. It's not the ideal for these bottles because I had to like re-drill the shelf. The space between shelves could not fit the bottles or whatnot. So there he goes again. But I re-drilled these holes and installed the Philips Hue lighting. It was a whole thing. Yeah. Felt really just felt like a man. And then there's Scott Shelf, which is the corner office.
I'll zoom in on myself as well. Yeah, yes. I got my own homemade IKEA shelves.
Yep. So glad to know our streaming backgrounds are really picking up in popularity amongst the viewership here.
Gregory Cloyd says IKEA cabinets will be the new SMWS logo.
That's funny because if you look at the logo, where is it? Where's get our logo up here? There it is. And the logo in the center of the logo is the vaults, which is our clubhouse and spiritual home. in Leith, which is a part of Edinburgh. And we could just replace the vaults with, boom, the IKEA cabinets.
Look who's watching tonight.
Oh, Pickly Doo. Pickly Doo's in the house.
Pickly Doo's in the house. We got to meet Pickly Doo in person.
Good to see you, Pickly Doo. Yeah,
I have to go watch the live from the gathering in New York and see Pickly Doo. We found out Ben commented. He came in. We were doing a live stream from the event, and Ben come in. He sat down. He said, "Well, he was looking at the commenters on YouTube, and he said, I bet Pickly Doo is here." And I said, "Well, I haven't seen him comment yet tonight." And I want to say it was Amy. Amy commented, said he's there at the event, so he's probably not watching. So Ben set out on a mission to go find Pickly Doo and got him, drug him in. We threw him in the live stream, and everybody got to meet Pickly Doo. It was a good night.
That was a great moment of the SMWS Whiskey Tube channel. I mean, I sat down because Pickly Doo, who now we're all friends in person, but in real life, IRL, Pickly Doo joins every stream, it seems like. And so when I sat down, I was joking. I'm like, "Oh, I bet Pickly Doo's here," and he wasn't, and we all got nervous for about 10 seconds.
Like what's wrong? Something's wrong. Pickly Doo's not watching. He's not commenting.
I feel like I'm just retelling your story now. We can move on. Anyway, it was great. I had to go back and watch the stream like late at night. I was lying in bed and just rewatching our reactions when we realized that Amy called out the fact that he's actually in the room. But we didn't know what he looks like except for this profile pic. But sometimes profile pics are like people from, they haven't updated for 10, 15 years. And
so how did you track him down? Then we'll get into our.
No, Pickly Doo found me. Pickly Doo found me.
Oh, did he?
It's so funny because he's watching this right now. We're talking about him, but yeah. Pickly Doo came and found me because I guess somebody messaged him on Discord. Shout out to Discord if you're a member of Scotch Malt Whiskey Society and want to join the conversation. What do you do, Scott?
Email myself, Scott at smwsa.com or Jenna at smwsa.com. We'll verify your membership and send you a link to join the Discord. We're up to, I think we're at 97 members now, about to hit 100. It's going real good. A lot of good conversation going on in there.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, it's Oktoberfest, and it's also the October Outturn preview. And I am going to be in Germany a few days, actually. So, which also means I got to go pack. So let's go through these whiskeys at a healthy pace.
We've got 6 whiskeys to get through in 30 minutes.
Yeah, we decided that 5 was the right number because these six whiskey tasting is like, I get off these streams and I'm like, oh, let me go revisit one of the 6 or all 6, and then the night never ends and it's a Monday, and then anyway.
I pour an infinity glass at the end of the night because I'll have a little bit left over, so I'll take all 5 or 6 glasses, combine them together, and then usually sip on that the rest of the night. A little bit of a infinity glass, I guess you could say, for the night. Anyway,
Ben's mic is at 11. I'm worried. Okay, listen, I am like, I just was in a Zoom meeting with this mic, and everyone's like, "You can't even hear you." So I cranked it up. So yeah, thank you for calling that out. You don't have to exercise your volume. I'll just step away.
Yeah, your sound good sound. Mic works good.
Okay.
First gas 78.52, Jolly Nice. 8-year-old Highland, spicy and sweet flavor profile. First fill ex bourbon barrel, or first fill ex bourbon hogshead, 59.1%. We've got some heavy hitters tonight, as usual. These will all be available tomorrow. This one at $110. And this one, so I like Distillery 78. It's become one of my favorites. It's got really distinct, unique character. And I think this is the first spicy and sweet that I've had from Distillery 78, especially as an 8-year-old. So I was pretty intrigued by that and wanted to see what was going on. But yeah, nice color for 8-year-old ex-bourbon hogshead. First fill ex-bourbon hogshead. Still for 8 years, didn't pick up too much cask influence.
I have to say, sorry, GCAP if I'm too close to the mic. I have to say, I just had a big sip of that Pilsner and immediately started noticing this whiskey and the similarities are undeniable.
Yeah. A lot of berries on this one on the nose for 78. I think the only ones I've had from 78 have been the Diedrich profile or spicy and dry. But on this one, definite berries, floral, maltiness, brown sugars. Wow, nice oak.
Very malty, very malty. But yeah, a lot of like sort of like bright rhubarb, stewed fruits. It's not necessarily a very fresh whiskey. You know, you're not getting like a wave of sort of 8 years on a first fill bourbon first fill ex bourbon hogshead. Anyway, first fill bourbon wood, not nearly as sort of juicy fruity as you might expect. Juicy fruity, much more autumnal.
Yeah, spice definitely. Almost a little peppery, but cinnamons, nutmegs. I like the nose on this one. It really jumps out of the glass. For an 8-year-old, I think it's picked up quite a bit of cask influence. I'm going to get in on the palate.
59.1%. Yeah, I'll do this one. Neat. Cheers. Mm.
Mm. Mm. Mm. Ooh. Beautiful palate. There's fruits, berries, spices, like I said, still a little bit peppery, almost spicy and dry type profile, but cinnamons, nutmegs, berries, dark fruits, slight nuttiness, a little bit of savory, salty / meatiness underneath. Wow.
Shockingly approachable. They're just shy of 60%. They're not nearly as vibrant as the aroma. More complex, more depth. Again, more autumnal, more baking spices, a little bit of dried ginger.
Mm-hmm.
But again, rhubarb, some blackberry maybe, but stewed fruits, like sort of cherry pie type of fruits. So, stewed fruits, yeah. You put stewed fruits in a pie. Anyway, point is, it doesn't have the sort of like the fresh orchard type of profile that you would get it from a lot of first fill bourbon casks from, I think this distillery. Mm-hmm. But actually, you were talking about some other casks from Distillery 78, suggesting sometimes they're drier, and spicy and dry, or nuttier, maybe. Mm-hmm. This one, yeah.
And that might be some of the rhubarb that you're getting in some of this distillery character, because it can be a little not funky, but just a little bit of a bite to it, a little vegetal, sometimes a little dankness to Distillery 78.
Dank.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But it's covered very nice here. This isn't citrus fruits. Don't think lemons, limes, even oranges, maybe some blood orange, but definitely going darker, like you said, cherries, stewed fruits, those guys, maybe even a little bit of peach with some cinnamon glaze on it, stewed peaches.
I was kind of knocking the beer pairing for Oktoberfest before we went live here. Kind of in this right now. This pairing in particular, sort of a bright Pilsner with this sort of like young but autumnal and relatively mellow whiskey is actually bringing out the maltiness a lot. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah,
it's I'm trying to think of like the moment or the occasion, or who this is best. Who would really enjoy this? What would you suggest? What's the right moment or palate? Because I know some people would really get into this, and I know some people would be like, maybe it's not for them.
Tom R is asking if there's prunes. I'm saying not quite prunes here. It's not that dark, but raspberries. I probably don't even need to reply now since I addressed it. But this is for an 8-year-old, spicy and sweet. This is really surprising. One of the better offerings I think that we've had, and it feels older. It's definitely sweet, Definitely spicy with even some peppers, black pepper, a little bit of spiciness, but also all the baking spices, like you said, and everything coming through. But yeah, it's a beautiful palate. I love this one.
Yeah, I really think this, again, because this is first impression. I'm just doing this. I think this is not one that you pour into a glass and spend a ton of time with, but I think it's so versatile in how it's enjoyed, like what it can pair with. Again, I'm sitting here drinking this Pilsner with it. Really, really goes hand in hand. And I'm looking down the lineup, which everyone here is going to see soon of what we're tasting. But I'm looking on the lineup. I'm like, this might be probably, at the end of this, probably the best beer pairing whiskey. Again, I know not everybody goes for these whiskeys just to pair with beer, but I'm just thinking about that. I'm thinking about breakfast. Oh, Eric Waite just says, I think this one is a breakfast whiskey. Yeah. So I think that I'm like, man, this couldn't really. So I'll think about it more and come back to it at the end. But I think it can go well with a variety of foods or other drinks, as we're doing here. And so I think there's real value in this one for that reason.
So taking just a little taste of my Goose Island Bourbon County Stout brought out a lot more earthiness in this, a lot more kind of meatiness as well. A little bit more of that the Distillery 78 dankness came out after the Goose Island Bourbon County Stout. So very interesting. I like my pairings, and I've had Goose Island before with many whiskeys. It's been a while. I haven't been drinking that many. Like I say, this one's a 2018 Goose Island, but I think those dark flavors, and it's a stout aged in bourbon barrels, very rich, very thick, very deep, very dark, and really brought out, like I say, some notes in this 78.52. Is that what this one is? I forget now.
78.52, yeah. That's interesting because I was thinking the stout would be better paired with like a darker malt whiskey. But you're right, the bourbon barrel aging on the beer probably does accompany this first fill hogshead.
Yeah,
quite well. So that's
the whiskey Franco. Let me see if I can highlight this one. I realized the other day it's been over 3 years since I've had a beer. Might need to change that soon, as I feel like I'm missing out on a ton of good pairings. Yeah.
Here we are, Scott. I was just saying before we went live, let's forget the whole beer thing. And now then he had one on his little barrel there. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get a beer. I'm thirsty. It's been refreshing. And now here we are. I'm really getting my mind going in a deep dive of like, ooh.
It didn't take too much. I didn't have to talk you into it too much. You were like, the fridge is down in the garage. I was like, hey, we got plenty of time. Go grab one.
Like walk all over.
Like, okay.
Yeah. No, it's really brought out the maltiness of that whiskey. All right, let's move on. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it did bring out a little bit more. Mine anyway brought out some of the maltiness, like I say, some of that meatiness, kind of the funk to Distillery 78 that really wasn't showing itself too much. There were some faint hints of it, but that stout really brought them out. So moving on, whiskey number 2, cask 64.127, Going Lux, 12-year-old Speyside, sweet, fruity, and mellow. Ex-bourbon hogshead, double maturation here, ex-bourbon hogshead, and then a first fill toasted barrique. 58.4% ABV. This will be available tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time, $130. Sound like at the end of the commercial when there's the guy that talks real quick. Puts all the disclaimers in there. But wait, there's more.
I'm excited for this one. Probably maybe not for a beer pairing, just on paper, but we'll see. But
12-year-old, definite darker that retoasted barrique here, definitely playing a role in the color of this one. Darker, almost sherry colored hues on this one. Lighter on the nose than the first one, but sweeter. Almost tangy, Sour Patch Kids type tanginess that makes the back of your mouth salivate when you taste them. Ooh.
I'm looking here, Scott, just kind of on our back end database, and this says it's a custom toasted American and European oak hogshead. I think I saw this coming down the line a few months ago because we have talked about. I remember when we were in Kentucky with the UK team, we had talked about. We're acquiring so many casks from different wineries and distilleries around the world. But we had talked about this idea of kind of partnering up to do some custom ones. I don't know if that's necessarily one that we did or if it was already customized. But if this is true and it's actually made from both American and European oak staves and then toasted, it's kind of a unique cask type.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Lady K is asking how many of these will be available tomorrow. Let me see real quick. I'll look it up.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, the nose on this one is
it's so seductive.
Yeah.
But you really, really get the toasted oak really just brings forth like a lot of thoughts, just sort of memories of being in Kentucky. I don't know. This doesn't smell like a bourbon, but that toasted oak quality, the rawness of it, definitely feels like I'm in a bourbon distillery or like a warehouse. Oh yeah, just smell that right now and tell me that doesn't smell like a bourbon distillery warehouse.
I mean, there's there's a toasted notes, but it's really tangy. Like I say, really sour.
Well, here, hold on. Let me get my secret weapon.
There's 64 of these will be available tomorrow. Lady
only,
K.
Only 60. No.
Or is that right? Well, she said 64.
Well,
no, 68. Sorry. Yeah.
It seemed a little bit.
Yeah. 68 of the 64. Wow.
Absolutely gorgeous nose.
Slight tobacco leaf on the nose. Malty and tangy sour fruits.
Let's see here. 60. I'm looking this up. Comment from Shopping Ben. You sure that's not a misprint about the custom cask? Definitely tasted a strong wine influence on that one.
Yeah,
like Eric said.
Well, no, it's a barrique. I did notice that with the website. The label has the first fill toasted barrique, and then when you go to the website, the product page, it's going to say a toasted European and American oak.
You get the wine influence because it's a first fill barrique. It was probably assembled using staves from X wine cask and X bourbon casks. Otherwise, it would just be virgin oak or new oak. So I definitely pick up the wine note as well from this, and it's not like overpowering like a straight first fill wine cask, but it's definitely there too. So yeah, totally unique.
Tangy fruits. There is something here on the back end in the finish, a little different. I'm going to have to try to suss out what that is I'm getting, but it's probably from those wine barriques, some certain really kind of tangy sour fruit. Perfumey, really kind of floral / perfumey. Well, no, a lot of floral notes for sure. Even rose petals. I'll throw in there on this one. What is that? Man, I'm going to have to figure out what this is. That's very nice. And that could be, maybe that's from having that stout on my palate's bringing out some of this.
This one's gonna take some water for sure.
Yeah,
I can tell there's a lot going on. It's just sort of buried right now.
Yeah, the wine retoasted wine barrique here definitely, or the American and European oak playing a big part here. Great influence on this one. Really tangy, really fruity, almost white grapeish, green grape.
Yeah, I definitely get a lot of the fresh white grape with some water. It really brings a lot of that. That's a good call.
Yeah. Slight tobaccos here. nuttiness, lighter nuts, almonds or cashews. Floral, like I said, really big time here. Malty, vanillas, burnt caramels. Wow. And that's still neat. I added some water, but I haven't taken a sip yet.
Yeah, very, very unique cask-driven profile, and I dig it. The white grapes is right on. I mean, I think the wine influence. There's no telling what type of wine was used.
Yeah.
What type of wine was aged in the staves that formed the X cask that was then reassembled to the new cask. Anyway, I don't know if it was white wine or red wine. I don't know, but I definitely get some of that, which makes me think it was white wine. You called it. I'm like, oh damn, I can't get that out of my mind right now.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely lighter colored grapes. White or green grapes. Samuel Strasbaugh saying, I just found out from the gathering that I met you at the Bastards Ball a few years ago, talking to me before you joined the SMWS, Scott. Yep. Been down there since I think 2018 was the first Bastards Ball. Been down to every one since. Ooh, yeah, this one, wow. Minty, almost a York peppermint patty on the finish. But that white cream minty filling is like a white grape cream minty filling.
It is a bit hot for what it is, and I think we just came off this. The first whiskey we had was this 8-year-old at 60%. It was like shockingly approachable and mellow and complex. This is a bit more alcoholic, so it's more like white peppercorn rush with all this. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's an observation, and one to consider. Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The aroma was like sensational, like neat. And I think the palate was good, neat too. Adding some water brought up more fruits and those grapes, but actually it's a little thin. I think I prefer this one with less water. And it's funny because I made the observation right when I first tasted it. I said, oh, this is going to take some water. I'm going backwards. I'm thinking, actually, you know what? I prefer it neat.
I'm on my second round of water. Let me try it real quick and see. I don't know. I think water is bringing out a little bit more of that barrique influence. Nice toasted oaks in there, kind of right in the middle with all the other notes that are going, all those sweet, tangy grapes and fruits and the maltiness and the slight tobacco, slight nuttiness. Yeah, just got a little raspberry.
It seems like a very safe pickup to make this bottle. I mean, just because, and I think specifically if you have a decent collection at home, you have some wine cask matured whiskeys, to start. I always think that's essential to have that in your home collection, like a true, like a full term wine cask, or just even like a wine cask finished whiskey. Ugh. There is a little bit of that there. I think this comes at a point, if you're building a collection, it comes probably after that. I don't know, just for there's no rules here. I'm just, this is what I would do, tasting this. But if you're someone, if you've been a member for a while, maybe not a lot, you have quite a few whiskeys at home, you're looking for something unique. This is probably a solid pickup for sure.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I think it could be an easy crowd pleaser too, but also offers a lot to dig in. I mean, we're running through these. I could stop and do this for 30 minutes, which is good. I like that.
So I went back to look. This was 9 years in the first ex-bourbon hogshead, and then 3 years in that retoasted American and European oak barrique. But very nice. Great influence. Those 3 years played a good part in the whiskey. So, all right.
Let's roll.
We got a good lineup tonight. We're going to a juicy oak and vanilla, a 21.
I'm really excited for this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a juicy guy.
135.42, Fun in the Sun, 21-year-old Highland. Juicy oak and vanilla flavor profile. First fill ex bourbon barrel. Only casking on this one, 54.9%. This will be available $230. 21 years in a first fill ex bourbon barrel. Good color influence here from it. Definitely darker. The 21 years playing a part here in that first fill as well. Wow. And the nose, toasted oak, vanillas, caramels, powdered sugar, citrus, juicy, actually like juicy fruit gum, little pineapple, starting to turn a little tropical. Got to pull my nose away from that one. It's strong. Not from the 54%, but I think from the 21 years. Wow. Slight cinnamons. Almost a little golden raisin. I got cinnamons and golden raisin. A little bit of pineapple. Nice fruitiness.
Okay, my turn. All right, so look, I have just nosing this is phenomenal. I was thinking this is probably the oldest cask from Distillery 135 we've released. Surely not, but 135.42. So there have been 42 casks from Distillery 135. Anyway, point is, I was super excited, not because I'm an age chaser, but just because it's something different. And I think just right away, there's a big debate about age, how important it really is. Some people think it's everything. Some people say those people are just been marketed to by big brands for decades. I'm kind of in between. I think you can't really, what we just had, like the whiskey before, was like very complex, and that designer cask created a lot of complexity. But this is like a very different experience. Like this is unmistakably an older whiskey. And you're right, Scott, when you call that like a first fill bourbon barrel barrel, right? Yeah. First fill bourbon barrel for 21 years is just a lot of cask.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be too much, and you can kind of lose the core character of the spirit beneath it. Just on aroma so far, I'm telling you, everything's balanced. You get a lot of those sort of fruity spirit characteristics right away, but also the other kind of fruity cask influences. There's the different layers of fruit here is what I'm trying to get at. Dude, I'm into it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very nice nose.
Super tropical. I mean, it's mellow and complex. There's real depth, but it's also vibrant. Like the profile itself is fresh and youthful. Strong note of guava, which I thought was kind of unique.
I was gonna say mango, but yeah, I'd go with guava as well.
Well,
very nice. Yeah,
I'm drinking a Pilsner. You're drinking a stout. I think we cut the difference, and it's some sort of tropical fruit.
Yeah.
I don't know who's really the most qualified, which reminds me. I got it.
All right, going in on the palate. Oh yeah, there's tropical fruits. There's right up front, the sweetness hits you. Toasted oaks. Nice 21 years here. Good oak tannins. Really saturating, just soaking in, really making the back of my palate salivate here. Juicy fruits. Those tropical fruits. It's a kind of a tropical fruit plate here. But I mean, still tropical, but then also still some of those normal kind of some peaches, some apricots, some pears, but then mango, papaya, guava, toasted vanillas. Ooh, slight nuttiness. Wow. Ooh.
Yeah, it's like a proper old school whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Tastes a bit older than it. And like if we're doing a blind, I would have guessed 30 years on this one. I mean, I couldn't. That's just when we've done blinds here on YouTube. So if this were a blind, I probably would have guessed something older. I thought, oh, Scott, thank you for sharing this old whiskey with me. I'm guessing 30 years old from the Highland region. Yeah, I don't know. That's I would be pretty confident in that description there, but
yeah, a lot of nice oak tannins setting in. 21 years definitely playing a part. Still some darks, a little bit more darker fruits on this one, almost as well, though, mixing in there with all those tropical fruits and citrus notes, vanillas, caramels, everything still. Wow. That's neat. I'm just adding my first round of water here. So what I found with the older ones and how you can tell an older whiskey is right here, and it's after you swallow, and you're still tasting those oak tannins. That the flavor, those notes are still hanging around. They're in your gums. It's in your teeth. That's the age of the whiskey. Those older whiskeys, that cask influence really starts to, the oak tannins just cling on and hang on to your palate.
Yep, that's a winner.
It's got a slight ashiness, slight tobacco, pipe tobacco. It's a little sweeter. Well, all of the fruitiness in this one, the vanillas, the oak influence, the maltiness, the tobaccos. This is, for a 21-year first fill X bourbon, there is a lot going on. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous whiskey. Wow. And there's the oak tan. And this is with a drop of water, and they're really clinging on back here now. Ooh. And Eric Wade, I highlighted him a little bit ago. He was at one of the tastings last night, and he had said, Fun in the Sun was my favorite. If you're going to buy just one, this is it.
Kind of funny that the people here in the chat have tasted these whiskeys before us.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that. We don't usually do these streams on the tastings on Sundays. I appreciate somebody sharing I appreciate the opinions coming through, but like there are no spoilers just yet. So very, very classy group.
I just took a couple swallows of water just to like kind of cleanse my palate, and it didn't work at all. This one is still, it's still there. It's still in my gums and in my teeth. I'm still pulling out notes from this whiskey. I think that's the 21 years showing us good cask influence, good cask notes, and it just doesn't want to let go.
It's interesting. I mean, if anyone's just joining us, if you missed the beginning 40 minutes ago now, oh man, we got a cruise.
Yeah.
We were at Oktoberfest, so we're drinking sipping on some beer along with these whiskeys. Natural pairing for most. And then the first one we had, that 8-year-old, what was it? 8-year-old Highland.
Yeah, 78.52.
It paired so well with this Pilsner. I was like spot on. I took a sip of this Pilsner and then I tasted this one for the first time. It's interesting. I feel like a Pilsner, malty, crisp, is a good like sort of center point for within this sort of spectrum of flavors that malt whiskey goes into. And then my point is, this one was not a great pairing because it is so tropical. As a whiskey, it's sensational, but I'm just calling this out as like a baseline malty sort of profile. And so if you put that in the middle of the spectrum, the way I'm describing this is very like sort of ADHD, but basically the first one was like spot on, dead center, malty spirit, boom. This one is much more tropical, so it actually was not a good pairing. I'm sure maybe there's some other beers, fruity beers, but wow, just really, really spectacular, totally unique. These last two whiskeys have been really unique as far as what we offer.
I'm actually using my Bourbon County Stout as a palate cleanser or kind of a palate neutralizer. just to get that one. Like I said, what was it, 64 point or 135.42 Fun in the Sun, the 21-year-old. I had it on my palate. I drank some water. It was still there. So I took a drink of my Bourbon County or my Goose Island Bourbon County Stout here to get ready for this next one. And I think this is going to be a good pairing because Diedrich, baby.
For
100.34. Oh, to be in the bodega again. 11-year-old Speyside in our Diedrich or deep, rich, and dried fruits. Diedrich is the abbreviation because it used to be you couldn't fit that many characters into the titles here for our live stream, so I had to abbreviate it. And then this was an ex-bourbon hogshead, double maturation, ex-bourbon hogshead, and a first fill ex-Oloroso hogshead. 56.7%, $125 tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Let me go look this one up real quick. I think this is 8 and 3 as well. 8 years in the ex-bourbon, 3 years in the first fill Oloroso. Yep, 8 years ex-bourbon, 3 years first fill Oloroso.
I'm going to do an AMSR. ASMR? AMSR?
ASMR, yeah. Oh, look at the color of this one. Gorgeous. Sing-song voice. Three years first fill Oloroso definitely playing a part in this one. Great cask influence, darker amber hues here. That nice sherry reddish color. Ooh, and on the nose, fruits, sweetness, and berries galore. Cinnamons, nutmegs, leather. Wow. Ooh.
It's a bit meaty too. You know, like some like cured meats, sort of a little bit like maybe cured ham, jamon. Spot on. Yeah. Oh, to be in a bodega again. Yeah, the jamon. Yeah. Totally got it.
Ooh. So we get asked a lot on nosing. I always say try both nostrils. Sometimes one may be plugged up, one may get something. Try your left nostril, try your right nostril, come off of the glass for a couple seconds, come right back in. Don't take too long. Try it with your mouth closed, try it with your mouth open. You'll get different notes. There's nice raisins, almost a raisin jam. Blackberry preserves. Ooh. Beautiful nose on this one. Wow.
It's very, very well balanced. I mean, it's a very different profile than if it were just to be full term in sherry. You know, so the sherry is there, but it's more of a whisper than really the dominant origin of flavor. But it's definitely there, and obviously the color kind of sits it. But it's not nearly as nutty as like a full term Oloroso cask would be for 11 years. Very, very well balanced. A little bit of the and a little toasted caramel and vanillins. So yeah, what do you say? You said 8 years in bourbon wood, and then three in the Oloroso. First fill Oloroso hogshead, presumably American oak. So yeah, not too tannic or spicy. Really, really, really well balanced. Luscious.
Yeah, I'm just getting so much of those darker Oloroso notes, fruity notes on the nose. Not too much of the meatiness or the savoriness that you were getting. Ooh.
I got some at first. It's sort of subsided the savoriness of the whiskey. It's more fruity now. Again, these are all just freshly poured, so they're evolving within the first few minutes of being in the glass.
Warren Buff is asking, is this a sister cask to 100.27 and or 100.32? Same age and cask combos. I know I was looking for aged goodies. I thought I had that one right here. I don't see it. And I don't know if those were going to be distilled on the same day.
Probably. I mean, the answer is most likely yes. Just because we do tend to acquire, different. But I would presume it's a different sherry cask, the same cask. So yeah, probably very similar. It'd be interesting to do a comparison. We do a lot of these. I mean, this is the nature of our cask acquisition and release. There are a lot of what you can call sister casks. That's not the right term we use, but like totally. So if you pay attention, you can kind of pick a couple up. We do some we do try to release some together at times, but within a given year, there's a good chance you might get a couple. And I think, and that's most common if it's been a double matured whiskey, as opposed to just a one-off. I don't know, or maybe not.
The Oloroso spiciness, the dark fruits, everything right up front on this one. Sweet, brown sugars, molasses. Ooh, the dark fruits, sweetness. Heavy cinnamons, nutmegs, all those nice Oloroso spicy notes. Oak. Ooh.
Shout out to Sean, who says Sean Peak is back. He said Tim Cass is 100.29 and misbehaving in a country house. I pulled it off the shelf. It is the same specs on paper. I mean, again, different casks, but same date of distillation,
Yep.
Same cask selection, and I just had this when we did the gathering stream, and I'm going to pour it again and do a little comparison right now.
Distilled 25th of March 2010 on O to B. This one, O to B in the Bodega again, and Misbehaving in a Country House. But yeah, this one, woo, nice Oloroso cask influence. .2% on Misbehaving in the Country House, 56.7, so a half a percentage point difference on the two. 11-year, both 11 years. Well, yeah, distilled on the same date, so.
We're going on a distillery dive tangent right here.
Yeah. Not the goal of Oktoberfest, but
yeah, well, we can debate this later, but very, very similar in a lot of ways. But I think this one's a little bit more cask driven, more of the sherry cask than the Misbehaving in a Country House. A little bit more the bourbon. When I say cask driven, I mean the sherry cask finish.
All right, what you got? You're making me want to try it now to see. This is what we get paid to do, right, Ben? We do this so you, the watcher, doesn't have to. We're the professionals. Oh well, the color.
We're the just the V-neck tee wearing professionals.
That's right.
Just pull things off the shelf.
The color is
noticeable.
The Misbehaving in a Country House is a lighter golden. You probably won't be able to see it here, but it's definitely a lighter golden. Not near as much cask influence on.
Okay, that's interesting. So the color matches my my quick experiences there. That this one is a bit more sherry cask forward.
Yeah, Misbehaving in a Country House definitely lighter on the sherry notes, sweeter but almost citrusy, lighter sweetness. Hints of the Oloroso, where O to be in a Bodega again is really Oloroso up front, smacking you.
Uh-oh. Kim says there's an aged goodies also. Uh-oh. Here we go.
Well, and I thought I had that one, but I don't see it. Maybe I didn't get that one. Or I don't remember if it's not up front. Or I drank it all.
Anyway, 100.34. O to be in a Bodega again. If you have one of the similar casks that we released recently, it's a good pickup. fun comparison, especially if you like the one, like the Misbehaving in the Country House or any of the others, aged goodies. So if you like that one, again, as a single cask, can't ever get the same whiskey again. That's sort of the only drawback of something that's this limited. But I think this one is pretty close.
If you can see here, Misbehaving in a Country House is this one. And then Ode to Be in a Bodega again.
Hold them still. Like throwing them around.
Yeah. But
all right, so a little darker. I mean, it's
yeah. I mean, color. But no, I mean here, or I can see the light's not real good there. Misbehaving in a Country House is definitely lighter than Ode to Be in a Bodega again. So yeah, definitely, like you pointed out, more cask driven, more of that Oloroso influence here on Ode to Be in a Bodega again. I don't know if we did a drop of water. Oh, wow, boy, I could see that in there. Get in there and separate the oil tannins. Tobacco. This one, it's a beautiful Oloroso influence here. There's tobaccos, there's leathers, there's Oloroso notes, there's the dark fruits, sweetiness, cinnamons, nutmegs. Very nice.
All right, so that's number 4. We got 2 more to go.
Yep. And
I opened this one already.
So. What do we got? Oh, we got another. Scott's favorite Outturn preview tasting, 2 girls.
Oktoberfest and Distillery Dive, and we do beer pairings, we do whiskey comparisons. Gone to the days of just going through a lineup and saying, here's what you get. It's a little spicy, a little rich, mellow, raisins, sultanas, beeswax, plastic, iodine,
burnt plastic,
this, that, a tasting note.
It's a Stretch Armstrong that's been thrown in the campfire. Yeah. Anybody remember Stretch? Did you have a Stretch Armstrong, Ben?
Oh, yes. If you're trying to put us together, you compare our ages and to think if I'm too young to be cool. They were totally going out of style when I was 4, but I had one because I wasn't a cool kid. I had the nerdy toys. So yeah.
Yeah, no, Star Wars was from the Goodwill. Yeah. You had the toys from the Goodwill, so you had a Stretch Armstrong.
Man, I would love one of those right now, the Stretch Armstrongs. Then there was like a series of other toys. I mean, like he had some. I was going to say a coworker, but like a friend of his. Like there was another in the brand, the Stretch Armstrong brand. There was another one. I think it's okay. Somebody in chat, if everybody watching has to know Stretch Armstrong. There was like another one. It wasn't a female version. It was like just a buddy. So I think I had them both. Right?
I don't remember a buddy to Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah, well, okay.
Unless it was the $6 million man. I had the eye you could look through, and the robotic arm. I remember that. So we're going from, a little color comparison here. Again, what we just came from, Ode to Be in a Bodega again, 11-year-old, first fill Oloroso. This one is, in my right hand, 44.149. This is a 14-year-old double maturation finished in a second fill Oloroso. You may not be able to tell, it is a shade darker, this 14-year-old, than the 11-year-old is. So it'll be interesting to see when we get in here how much that second fill Oloroso played a part. And let me get our ages here. I'll bet you
62.1%. Wow.
Yeah.
Doesn't taste like that. Maybe I'm a little warmed up, but this is a really nice. Wait a second. This reminds me of
This was 12 years ex-bourbon hogshead, and then 2 years in the second fill Oloroso. So I expect a lighter sherry Oloroso influence here. Nice color, though. It still picked up quite a bit of color from that second fill Oloroso. But
where is? see here. Oh, never mind. I was thinking of the cask we just released for the Gathering, or one of the two. That's 41.143. This is 44.149, and so I thought it was 44.143. Anyway, it was very close in numbers and cask specifications. Like on paper, I was like, oh wait, is this a very similar? But no, it's not. Disregard.
Yeah, 44 though. So Distillery, they use worm tubs in the distillation process. Sometimes produces a little kind of a sulfur, copper, meaty, underlying note in there. We've had some wonderful 44s that have been sherry casks. Love them. Recently, we had that 17-year-old Light and Delicate from Distillery 44 that was not sherry cask. And I found that one very intriguing, very nice as well. So definite sweetness though here on this one up front. I don't think there's quite the punch of those dark Oloroso notes that we just saw on O to Be in the Bodega again here, but really nice sherry influence here. Dark fruits coming through, a lot of sweetness. Neat. Let me try it again. Yeah, caramels, brown sugars, little vegetal note. Okay, right there on the tail end, I just got a little bit of a metallic, sulfurish type note. Copper, earthy, more meatiness, I think. Wow.
Yeah, I quite like the sulfur note. Yeah. It's very faint. It's different from like the sulfur matches.
Yeah.
Used to preserve sherry casks, which can be a little bit more off-putting. This is much more pleasant. It adds depth of character, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Easy to love this one. Going into October or in October, like it's spot on.
Wow. I just had to drop a dash of water. I haven't tasted it yet, but that sip neat is still just reverberating and just bring all those sherry notes, even for a second fill. Oloroso, great influence here. But on the tail end, a little bit more of that meatiness, that Distillery 44 distillate character. Wow. I don't know if there's such a thing as raisin pie, but a raisin tort. How's that?
I don't know, man. If there is such thing as raisin pie, I'd rather just drink this whiskey. That doesn't sound like something I want to eat necessarily.
I'd eat some raisin pie.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's Scott misbehaving in the country house, eating the raisin pie. Yeah, the early bird gets the worm. So it's such a cliche, motivational a sentence. Yeah, the early bird. What is the origin of this name, or what's the tie-in? I'm wondering. The worm tub.
Yeah, worm tub.
About the worm tub.
Early bird gets the worm. So on the back end, I'm looking, is there a meatiness in here? I'm not necessarily saying, I don't think it's a meatiness. It's more of a vegetal, almost earthy type tone note.
It's leathery more so than meaty,
Okay. Yeah. I was kind of going through the meatiness flavor wheel, and I'm like, I'm not really getting any meat, any pork, any seafood, anything like that. But there's something, I mean, like I say, it's like an herbaceous earthiness on the back end of this one.
That the previous sherry cask whiskey we just had was a bit more savory in that sense. This is a bit more, it's lighter, it's a bit more delicate, more pleasant. That's not a word I use to describe a whiskey often, but that's what I would say.
Well, I would say this one's a little bit lighter, a little bit smoother than the O to Be in a Bodega. Again, at the 11-year from that first fill, Oloroso, a lot more Oloroso punch, a lot more upfront in your face. This one's really more refined, sweeter, smoother. But then, like I say, on the back end, it's kind of some of that herbaceous, earthy nuss kicking in.
Nuss. Earthy nuss. Kicking in.
Well, and then I was going through my flavor wheel, and all of a sudden, like a hot pork sausage just came to mind as I was tasting it, almost like a hot link.
Oh, you thought of me?
No,
Yeah,
I was not thinking of you.
Raisin Pie should definitely be a SMWS bottle name. Says the Whiskey Franco. Nice.
Ooh.
Well, if you ever see it, Scott named it Raisin Pie. What's the best? Sorry, what was it?
I was going to say, what was the old movie with Nicolas Cage? It was Raising Arizona, where they had the little baby. Yeah, remember that one?
No, I was too young playing with Stretch Armstrong back then. I don't remember that one. I truly don't.
44147 Worm Cinders.
Oh, no more comparisons. We're running overtime right now.
Yeah, we are. We got one more bottle to get.
We can't leave him hanging. We have to answer. We are compelled to provide.
Are we compelled? I compel you.
Do you know that whiskey? 4414. Oh no! I was hoping you said no.
I thought I had that one. It might be back in my office. Oh no, right here. What do you?
Oh no, here we go.
This was an 8-year-old Worm Cinders, 8-year-old first fill. This was exclusively matured though.
Okay, can you just message GCAP like privately, on Tinder or something after this?
This one was 8 years of exclusive Oloroso maturation. This one was much darker, much more Oloroso notes. I can tell you that much just from that. But and so older though, there was another 44 a couple years ago that was exclusive maturation, or if I remember right, and I think I still have it back here as well. Does anybody remember the name of that one? And it had something to do with a bunghole or a bung.
Happiness is a warm bung.
There you go. That was it. Yeah, that was a good one too. We've had some good sherry casts from 44. I think
seriously. We do this thing here, as you guys know, where we don't reveal distilleries, but I had the whiskey maker of Distillery 44 was in my office when I lived back in Chicago. If you were hanging around this channel back in the day, so I brought her in and I handed her, I poured her a dram of one of our whiskeys from Distillery 44, and it was like this. It was kind of like a PX sherry finish, maybe, or something like this. And I didn't tell her what it was. I was like, just what do you think? And she's like, this whiskey's amazing. I have no idea what it is. I was like, well, that makes sense because, it was one of your casts, but then we kind of took it over and obviously and transferred it to another cask. So she's the master blender of the distillery and of all the other sort of distilleries under the same ownership umbrella, but being very
is she still there now with
yeah.
Does anybody see that? We're coming up. Last one of the night. 6 of 6. It's green.
Yeah, I'm expecting this one.
I think we should just end here, Ben. I mean, I think we should just call it a night right now.
Dude, I need some Pete so bad it's not even crazy. It's not even funny. Like 5 unpeated whiskeys. I mean, it was just no problem. I'm fine with that. I've been such a peak kick lately. I just can't. I don't know why. Oh,
cast 108.47.
I'm so down with this one. It's such like a very softer. It's pleasant. Hold on. I'm down for things that are not just soft and pleasant, but I'm not. That's not why I'm down with this. But it's just like it's such a unique expression of a peated whiskey from Space Side. And sort of got this like locomotive train steam or locomotive steam aroma and character. It's just light. It's airy. It's just such a unique style of peated whiskey that I'm drawn to it.
Warren, real quick, Warren Buff says, for some reason, I can't always tell the peated from the heavily peated just seeing the caps. but I'm fine with the distinction in the purple group. I can tell there is a slight difference from peated to heavily peated. But it's like when the box arrives and you pull it out, you're like, ooh, that's heavily peated. There's just that subtle difference in the greens, from peated to heavily peated. But yeah.
No, dude, I totally agree. I can't tell the difference. Sometimes I have to like line them up, and I'm like, I have to put them in the light. We're actually fun. Let me spoil alert. We're from a branding standpoint, we're looking at like slightly changing the colors just to make them more distinct for that reason. Because, yeah, that's definitely I think the case for a lot of people, myself included. Yeah, like Scott, like we have a bunch of bottles here, so we can kind of like when you see them like lined up,
yeah,
it's easier, but it's kind of hard. At this point, they're very the lightly peated one's easy to spot, but those two are tough. So
Kim KLG223 is pointing out lots of people in the tasting voted this lightly peated. I don't know. I just reviewed this one today. Shot my single bottle review of it, and it feels peated. And I actually thought some water might bring out a little bit more peat in this one, but let's wait and find out. But I put up the cask specifics at first, and then I took them down because the name of this one, I was going to quiz people. Some people already know it, but 1960s television sitcom starring Larry Hagman and Barbara Eden was named what? Anybody remember? That's the name of this bottle. It's very interesting. I'm my palate cleanser, my Bourbon County Stout is going down.
Wait, did you put up the answer with the cask information and then take it off?
It's in the cask information, which I put up at first, but then I took it down.
Yeah.
Like I was going to throw this out there. Yeah. There you go. Duke McHale already. Oh, wait. Pickly Dew got it. I Dream of Jeannie. Yep. A little different. Yeah. Yeah.
That was a good show. I mean, I used to watch as a kid like reruns of that show.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Yep. Gilligan's Island. I Dream of Jeannie.
Oh, yeah.
Leave It to Beaver. Lost in Space.
Oh, that was great. No, I mean, because when I was a kid, I mean, obviously I wasn't alive when those aired. I'm 36. If anyone's trying to date me and trying to figure that out, man, I'm not ashamed of it. But I grew up with those were playing as reruns on like Nick at Night or whatever the channel. I don't know. I watched all those.
There's a good one. Kim remembers the Love Boat. Uh-huh.
To the comment about
the plane. Mm-hmm.
To the comment about this being lightly peated or peated, I think it's very phenolic, but it doesn't. I think when I'm just suspecting this, and this might not be the case, but when people think of a peated whiskey, oftentimes we think of something that's a bit heavier. It's a lighter profile. It's very smoky, similar to like Octomore, in that Octomore peated whiskey, most heavily peated whiskey in the world from Brunow Distillery, but the barley's malted on the mainland of Scotland, so it's not like the thick Isla peat,
right?
I mean, with that whiskey, there's also like diminishing returns of scale when it comes to like smoking barley, but so there's a lot going on. But my point is, because this is like reminds me of that. It's lighter. It's more airy. I use the term locomotive steam, but it's definitely peated. It's very phenolic. Like the peat's definitely there, but it doesn't have that density of a coastal whiskey. That I think is often presented alongside something the peat, and therefore I think the peat experience again is very different, but it is still phenolic. If that makes any sense, if I'm going off on total tangent, but
I get peat all over the nose on this one. Citrusy, vanilla, malty. Not a real harsh peat or a real in-your-face peat, but peat definitely there. Probably that Highland / Speyside heathery peat, which I still need to learn. Blind. I don't know if I can tell the difference yet. Isla peat and heather.
Oh, we know who won that shootout, Scott. We know, we know.
I need to do some more side-by-side comparisons. I mean, maybe side by side, I'd be able to tell you, well, yeah, this one's definitely Isla, and that one's lighter. But
yeah, blind tasting is fun. Like we joke around, and I'm sure most of you saw this, that I defeated Scott in a blind tasting by a significant margin of 1/2 point. But that's not; those are fun. It's not the whole point of whiskey is to be enjoyed. And I think for us, SMWS, is to enjoy whiskey, the unique whiskeys for what they are. But I think through practice over the years, it's become easier to pick some of these things out. Of course, there are not that many distilleries on the mainland who are offering peated whiskey. I mean, there's an increasing number of them, but it's not such a huge number. So I think if you kind of have some experience tasting different casks from those various distilleries, you're also becoming more familiar with their house style of whiskey beyond the peat itself. So it's easy. I'm just suggesting it's almost like have a cheat code on in our head to head, because there's just more to it than the peat. I'm not identifying the whiskeys for the peat itself, but more so like what's beneath the peat.
I think some people get into it though, and they're like, I'm strictly an Isla fan. I love Isla peat. It's Isla peat, and they don't like others. To me, I mean, I'm more. I think is the whiskey good? Is the peat good that's in it? And differentiating the type of peat isn't as important to me as just saying this is a damn good whiskey. Peated Speyside, peated Highland, or peated, Isla.
Yeah, I just appreciate the variety. I mean, the fact that I'm happy, like this distillery, the Speyside Distillery is relatively new, or maybe actually that would be I don't know. Yeah, I think it's relatively new. I mean, compared to other distilleries that have been around for 200 plus years in Scotland. I want to say it was like starting in the 70s. I could be wrong, but I appreciate that more distilleries are using peat in the malting process. And we have that variety because it wasn't always there. And I used to be like very, very pro just Isla only. I mean, I love Isla, but there's so many of these mainland peated whiskeys that have really captivated me over the last few years that I look back at like what are some of the most memorable ones. I'm like, not a lot.
Is Distillery 108? Is it Diageo? Is it part of the Flora and Fauna range?
No.
Okay, that's a different one then. But still, I think a lot of what they do is blend based.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're very lucky to find IBs or independent bottles of this distillery. This one, I mean, just that first sip, the peat, kind of a really. I mean, it's kind of a mixture. It's almost, there's a little bit of earthiness to it, but there's a little bit of industrial. There's a little bit of medicinal iodine peat to it. There's a very nice citrus sweetness following everything up, powdered sugars, maltiness. I mean, it was outstanding, that first sip.
David Markovitz. Hey, David, good to see you. Says, Kilman peat, Ardbeg peat, Lagavulin peat, Beaumord peats, all great, all different. Yeah, I mean, all very different. Though I think with a lot of these, though, they are using the exact same peat because it's coming from Port Ellen maltings. Not all of it. I mean, but like Kilhoman, for instance, most of theirs is from Port Ellen maltings, and they use but except for their 100% Isla range is their own Kilhoman maltings. But anyway, my point is, a lot of the peat is actually very similar, the same source, but yeah, the whiskeys and the experience with the whiskeys intertwined with that peat are totally different. And then
So I mean, the peat is all over this one, but I'm trying to dissect it. And sometimes, with your Isla peats, there's that definite earthiness. Sometimes there's that definite campfire-ness. Sometimes that definite iodine note. There's really nothing here. I mean, it's smoky, it's peaty, it's lighter, it's sweeter, and that's probably that heathery, peated note that's going on with it. But yeah, very nice. Wow, citruses galore, caramels, milk chocolates.
Matthew Welch. I have 10841 burnt. Man, this guy's on tonight. Man, Matthew, your comment's been fucking phenomenal. Love this whiskey, 108.41 burnt dusk. I love the name. Just everything about that one. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's probably pretty similar to this one right here in terms of cast specs. But yeah, man, that's a phenomenal. I was really into that. I think that was when I was really just going crazy over on YouTube at one point. It's just sensational. Look at all these 108s. 108 rhymes with a salt plane.
Saltaplane.
Oh, Altavania.
So I just shot my review of this one today, and I remember water really helps this one, I think, and it really expands the peat as well. And I'm getting it here, man. And even the finish is exponentially better with water. That's really, I think, opening up those oak tannins and those peat tannins as well. But very nice peat, just very nice sweet, very nice, ex-bourbon influence. Second fill ex-bourbon barrel here, so slight cask influence. A lot of distillate character here. Peated. It's very nice. Very sweet, very peated. Wow.
So looking back at these 6, I'm curious, what are some standouts? Is there a standout for you? I mean, for everybody in chat, is obviously the release is tomorrow at tomorrow at 1:00 Eastern time. I think they'll be around for a little while. I think hopefully we try to stock up so they're not selling out immediately anymore. But what would you if you were going into this as a member buying tomorrow?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
Oh, I almost have to agree with Eric Waite that 21-year-old Juicy Oak and Vanilla is a stunner. 135.42. I think the retoasted Barrique going Lux 64.127 is a stunner. I was really impressed with the 8-year-old 78.52. Of course, both of the Dirtiffs. Everything's and Kim points out here. I've got it highlighted this. Talking about this peated one. It's her favorite peated release from SMWS in a while. And yeah, I mean I'd added a dash of water, and I forgot from my review just earlier today that water actually helped this one bring out so much more with it. So.
Yeah, it's funny. I was about to give an answer, then I heard you kind of go back on all of them. I'm like, yeah, actually, everyone. that 8-year-old that we started off with, I was like, okay, it's like it's not. It is what it is, kind of thing. I mean, it's good, but now I go back, I'm like, you know what? If I had a lot of whiskey at home and I wanted, there's real value in that. Going back to my thought about pairing with beer and all these things, I'm like, that's actually a really good pickup. The designer cask that we had, like.
Let's try that real quick. Let's go back to the Goose Island Bourbon County Stout, take a little swig, and then go into the peated.
Okay, then I really have to go. I'm leaving for Europe for 2 weeks, and I haven't packed yet. And it's I had an 8 a.m. flight. So the designer cask one, 64.127 going Lux. That's a smart pickup, I think, just for the uniqueness. I've never had a whiskey like it, and probably won't ever. Never say never, but so I'm just saying for the pure uniqueness and enjoyment of something that's totally different, that's an easy pickup, in my opinion. The 21-year-old Fun in the Sun, 135.42 is just like checks all the boxes. If you're into that style, older yet zesty, vibrant whiskey, a lot going on, and I think that's my thing.
Lady K points out the spreadsheet here. Let me
Jesus. Flavor profile overload.
Yep. Everything coming out tomorrow.
Honestly.
Yeah, we're just reviewing 6 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 whiskeys coming out.
Grilling on the beach, refill Spanish oak sherry hogshead. Isla. Oh, why didn't we have that one tonight?
You're the boss.
I know, but sometimes I don't look at the whiskeys. I just taste them, and I'm told stream.
Oh, wow, yeah. Well, and the thing, I'll tell you what though, Distillery 53. I mean, it's just a workhorse.
13 years
I mean, we get so many good casks from Distillery 53, and we're approaching 400 casks from them. But yeah, a 13-year-old refill Spanish oak sherry hogshead on that one, peated. That'd be a very nice one to try for sure.
Yeah, jolly nice.
But no, we had some good ones. Again, you sit down with 6 whiskeys and you think, oh, there's going to be some real standouts, or there's going to be some that just don't perform. And boy, I mean, they all do. I mean, they're all 6 whiskeys we looked at tonight were excellent, outstanding.
Yeah.
So
light on the peated selection this month. I believe we're coming back with a lot of more peat in November. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be totally wrong about that. But
yep. All right, everybody take your screenshot. I'm going to close it out in about 5 seconds. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right.
And we're live again. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Shoot us a note if you have any questions. Do us a huge favor if you can just please like this stream and comment or something. I don't know. We got to do what the YouTubers say, which is like subscribe. If you're watching this, you like this conversation, you like our tangents, our whiskey tangents about old TV and beer and what else? What were those? I don't know. Other things you do in a country house. Give us a subscribe. Wait, click subscribe. Give us a like. Do the whole algorithm thing.
Give us a thumbs up. Yeah, click the bell. The notification button.
That's a little aggressive to me. When people tell me to click the bell notification, I'm like, yeah, listen, I get enough notifications. As much as we'd like you to know, come on, just Anyway,
right. A couple questions there about the bottle of the month, and I hate to disappoint everybody, but the one bottle we did not review, 53.393 Grilling on the Beach, is the bottle of the month.
Oh my god!
I know. It's like, what?
I'm getting involved in these selections. Alrighty, look at November. Ooh, that one looks good.
393. Yeah. Sherried Isla. That's your bottle of the month. Hope you enjoy it, because we didn't get to.
All right, y'all. Happy Monday. Good luck tomorrow. Releases at 1:00 Eastern. Shoot us a note. Drive us. You can just drop a comment here if you have any questions about this. I think you'll probably get a quicker response that way versus email. If you're not yet a member, obviously the whiskeys are exclusive to members. You can just join. Starts at $100. Pretty good. And yeah, that's.
I'm gonna sign up for the bottle of the month club, Ben. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna email Brianna tomorrow.
Scott's on like the 6 bottles a month plan, or maybe more. The 10 bottle a month plan. He just sits here on YouTube and tastes them, and yeah. So you can go sign up for the bottle of the month club if you want, Scott. If you need that one more bottle. Adios, amigos.
Real quick, if Discord, it's a separate chat group. We've got our own whiskey forum on there. If you're a member and you want to be a part of our Discord society, email me, scott@smwsa.com. I'll verify your membership. Only members can be in there. We'll let you in. We're up to like 97 members now. A lot of good conversation, a lot of good talk going on about not only SMWS whiskeys, but whiskey in general. So yeah, shoot me an email or Jenna at smwsa.com. We'll let you in.
Adiós, amigos. Ahora vamos a la España para 2 semanas. Y ciao, Scott. Ciao, salud.
What he said.
Yep. I'm just getting out of here for a couple of weeks. And I'll be in Spain and have fun and drink a lot of whiskey, enjoy these whiskeys. And I'm going to go, what's the one, Salt? Go back to a bodega, to be in a bodega again. Salud.
Thanks to everybody that tuned in. And remember, Scotch Malt Whiskey Society whiskeys are not for swigging, glugging, or knocking back. Please drink responsibly. Cheers.
Cheers.